I'm quite sure. Well, so today we are looking at one of the most important nutrient it is among those micronutrients that you will not know that you need. Who remembers when I talked about this? Hidden hunger. I think I've talked about hidden hunger like twice in our first session. Who remembers hidden hunger? Who? I want someone to remind us from you. Who remembers hidden hunger? You want to mean that no one was part of those sessions that I talked about hidden hunger? Hidden hunger. So, the hunger that is hidden, English. The hunger that is hidden, meaning even when you have it, you will not feel it. This other hunger, when you feel like you need some sugars, the brain will communicate to your stomach will start quarreling, and all of a sudden you will feel like you're weak. Then you know that I need to eat. You normally use the term that I need some glucose. And some of you actually take it to another level and you go even to the shop and buy glucose. Yeah? Some of you, I know you do it. You go to shops and buy glucose. Now, for the hidden hunger comes in when there are nutrients that you require, but you will never know. By the time you know that you need this nutrient, there is a problem just. Yeah? Let me give an example. You may never know that you lack iron until you become anemic, until you have signs of anemia, and they find that you are anemic. Until there is a problem, that's when you know that you need iron. Until there is that problem, you will never know that you need calcium until your bones start having issues. Yeah? You will not feel in you that you need sodium. You will not feel in you that you need vitamin A. You will not feel that you need this just because you haven't ate a meal maybe that doesn't have calcium, that you're going to feel like, I think the way I'm feeling I need calcium. Never. That, you know that you need calcium when there is a problem, when your bones are breaking, yeah? When you have pains in the same as sodium, same as vitamin A, and same as omega-3. You will not know that, like today I'm feeling, I think I need omega-3. The way I'm feeling, I need to eat omega-3. You'll never know. You'll never feel it. Yeah? But until there is a problem. Now, in our ancient times, the times of our grandfathers and the great-grandfathers, they used to eat foods that would have the omega-3. So science, at that point, yeah, their foods would be balanced. Number one, these foods, first of all, they were on soils that were fertile, and therefore soils would have all these nutrients, and the plants would uptake on these nutrients. They eat the foods, then the foods give them the nutrients. They need for science to test whether they have iron or what they need necessary. Reason being, soils would give nutrients to plants, and plants were available, so they would eat a variety, including fish, including nuts, that would give them the nutrients. Among them is the omega-3. Now, I see some people writing, okay. So, what is omega-3? Omega-3 is among those, it's a fatty acid. There are so many fatty acids, but omega-3 is among that fatty acid. We call it essential. Essential. You know, there's what we call non-essential and the essential. The essential word comes in a sense that our bodies cannot produce it. Anything that our body cannot produce. Some fatty acids our bodies can produce themselves, but anything the body cannot produce, it becomes essential. And therefore, for you to get it, it is through either diet or supplements. That is why it is essential. I will not go into the science of the polyunsaturated. That one we shall leave it at that. So, there are foods that are known to have these in plenty. To begin with, fish, but not all fish. Other fish have traces, but the fish that have in marked quantities, number one is salmon fish, the other one is mackerel, sardines. I don't know if you know these fish. At least I know sardine. Yes? You even know mackerel? You met in high school? Ooh, interesting. Yeah? So, now, the key sources, as we are seeing those types of fish, right? They have a lot and in plenty. Yeah? That for them, if you had access to, let's say, salmon, it would be enough to meet your daily requirement, your daily body requirement for the omega-3. Are we together? If you had that fish, even if it was mackerel, even if it was sardine, if you had them, they would be enough. We are going to look at the types of the omega-3s because there are different types. Yeah? Then we have some plant sources that can also give us the omega-3. When we talk of nuts, for example, I haven't said that. For example, the almonds. We know almonds. We know cashew nuts. Who knows flaxseed? Who knows chia seeds? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know these things. If you do not know them, if you see anything here, you even move. By the time you get into the business of wellness, you're going to meet people who will be challenging you. People will be challenging you. Someone will ask you, now you have given me omega-3 supplement. Do I need to still take my chia seeds? And then you do not know what chia seeds are. Yeah? Then you do not know what walnuts are. You do not know what flax seeds are. Write them down, search, look at their pictures. Actually, all of those They are in our supermarkets here in Uganda. All of them like they are. If you want them, you will find them in our supermarkets. They are there. So those are plant sources. The other first ones were animal, okay? And that's why we have the fish. These are the plant sources of the omega-3. Yeah? So, plant and animal somehow provide different types of omega-3. Yeah? I will not go into deep science of that. But just know that even if you are taking, let's say, plant sources of omega-3, you would still need to take fish. Or even if you're taking these, at one point you will still need to supplement. We are going to see that in depth. So I've already talked about this. Key sources, I've talked about the plant. Yeah? Flax seeds or plant oils, flax seeds, soybean oil, canola oil. I did, like I said, I'm not going to go into the science of the alpha-linolenic acid. Yeah? Because even when I mention those words, probably we shall not remember them. But what is most important is to note the plant sources where we can find omega-3. However, there is something we call fortification. This is what we call fortification. Fortification is addition. It's an artificial addition of a nutrient into a product. It could be even a crop. For example, we have the orange sweet potatoes. These are biofortified with vitamin A or beta carotenes. Now, bio means they introduce a nutrient in a form that is more of natural. For example, those orange sweet potato from Kawanda and Nakuri, they do some biochemical science and introduce the vitamin A. And when you take the sweet potato, plant it, if you eat it, you get the vitamin A. They are biofortified. But there is also the just artificial fortification, which is non-bio, where let's take an example of yogurt. You manufacture yogurt and get omega-3 and add in it. You get it? Or you get juice and just fortify is to add or enhance. Milk, soy, you just add. So that's what we are talking about. So, importance. These days, we have people who are dying in sleep. Very young people are dying in sleep. Middle-aged men, just within this I think within less than a week. If we have people who have graduated from Makerere in the recent 2 years, there is a young man called Shuti. May he so rest in peace. Anyone who is from Makerere, who knew that guy? Yes. I'm told the gentleman slept and didn't wake up. Yeah? There is a gentleman, Dr. Spire, fertility doctor, renowned. No speculations had started going around that the man was killed. But the brother came out and said the gentleman died of heart attack. Just as simple as you sleep, you don't wake up. Omega-3 supports heart health by lowering blood pressure. How it does it? Omega-3, how it helps in lowering blood pressure, it ensures that in our blood vessels we eliminate the bad fat. It helps in elimination of bad fat, because folate is a healthy fat, so it helps in ensuring that the bad fat is eliminated in the blood vessels. Why is it helping the heart? Because we know the heart has smaller vessels which are susceptible to clogging or blockage. So the heart has small vessels which at any time anything can block them, especially the bad fat. And this helps to ensure it cleans those smaller blood vessels, whether over the brain, whether over the heart, especially the key organs: heart, brain, liver, and kidneys. So, reducing triglycerides, slowing plaque development. The plaque development is what I've just talked about, the clogging in arteries, and reducing the risk of heart attack and stroke. So when your blood vessels do not have those plaque, the plaque is just like a clot, sort of something that can form around any smaller blood vessel, causing it to block. So this is the very first, most important, because your heart, even if it just shuts down for 1 minute, you're finished. If you do not have anyone around you to do what we call resuscitation, pressing on your chest to bring it back, you're finished. Because the heart supplies, it's like when the injectors of the fuel close and there is nothing to supply in the engine, the car stops immediately. And so that's what the heart does. The heart ensures you get the blood to ensure these other organs are gone. In 1 minute, when the blood stops, this brain stops receiving blood, and it is the first thing to always die. Brain is always the first thing to die. In seconds, when it has started dying, when it's not receiving blood. And it happens if your brain stops. That's what we call the heart attack. Maybe something more about stroke. When there is a heart attack, then we have stroke. Then from stroke, we have brain death, depending on the magnitude of the stroke. Stroke, it has types. I will not talk about the types, but just know what happens is either the brain is cut off blood supply or the blood vessel can burst. The blood vessel can burst. How does it burst? If, take an example, one part that is supposed to ensure constant flow of the brain, of the blood to the brain, is blocked, and then the heart is pumping, there is going to be pressure on that brain, on that blood vessel, then it will burst. It's like you have a pipe that is supplying water maybe up to Nakasero Hill, but then along the way here, across the road, you just somehow broke it. But here there is a pump that continues to pump. What may happen is much pressure may be created around the blockage site, and then the pump will burst. And then that's when the stroke comes in. Blood spreads all over the whole brain, and at that point, still there will be brain death. That's when you will see maybe some people are at that point operated to remove the blood, to wash out the blood that has, depending on the magnitude of the stroke. Some stroke you hit you and you die immediately. So omega-3 as well helps in preventing what we call inflammation, or it reduces it. And it is that inflammation that causes chronic diseases, still heart diseases, cancer, and autoimmune. We have talked about inflammation quite so many times, right? Because this inflammation, Muruganda is they call it chibabukiriro. Yeah? That chibabukiriro will lead to abnormal growth of cells that will come as cancer. Yeah? It may cause the body reacting to itself, what they call autoimmune. These days we have too much of cancer of the blood, what is so-called leukemia. Now, leukemia, for many people, there is what they call autoimmune diseases. So it is part of the autoimmune diseases. It just comes from your body. Other conditions of autoimmune, rheumatoid arthritis, and type 1 diabetes. These days we have younger people who have diseases. You are 20, you are 30, you are 40, you get diseases of those who are 8 years old. Rheumatoid arthritis, enyingo nga zikuluma zizimba, those who are in 80s. But today we have people who are in the 20s, they have those diseases as early as 20, some even when they're even still teenagers. Type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is common in young children. It is autoimmune, meaning the body reacts to itself. A reaction of the body to itself, and then cells that are supposed to regulate insulin from the pancreas die off. Without any explainable cause, the body reacts itself. That's what we call autoimmune. The other importance, now, having already seen that omega-3 is going to help on good saturation, especially around organs that have smaller or intense capillary supply. When I say intense capillary supply, means that we have a lot of small blood vessels supplying that organ, and the brain is one of those organs that have too much smaller blood vessels supplying around. Now, omega-3 is going to enhance the function of the brain and the mental health. Once you have good supply of the blood to the brain, it means nutrients can easily flow in, whether they are toxins can easily flow out. Ultimately, your brain will function very well, your mental health will be okay, symptoms of depression, anxiety, dementia, Alzheimer's, all of those will reduce. Now, there is a study that was done. There is one common drug we use to treat those who have depression, anxiety, a synthetic drug called Fortification. A study was done and they compared giving someone the other medicine and also giving them omega-3. The results were completely the same. Meaning someone who has a mental issue can take omega-3 as those ones who are good at complaining and claiming stress. Those of you who are good at claiming stress, this is for you. Yeah? I am depressed. I am anxious. You forget so much. This, in combination to the others you will give, like super focus, someone with dementia, you don't forget omega-3. Alzheimer's disease, this is for the elderly. This is for the elderly. It is characterized with what we may call as tremors. It comes about because their nervous system has got some degeneration. Degeneration means it has gone on wearing off as they age. So the omega-3 is also good for the nervous system. Supporting eye health. Now, the same explanation I gave you of the smaller blood supply, same applies to the eyes. The eye is also another organ that has smaller capillary supply that never wants to be disturbed. That is why if you have high blood pressure, if you have diabetes, one of the things that are going to be affected is your eyes, because those are going to affect the smaller blood capillaries that supply the eye, and you end up having issues with sight. Yeah? So they are talking about preventing macular degeneration, because if you have this constant blood supply to this eye, especially that the inner part, it means it will stay as it is. But once supply is somehow crippled, then that center part that is supposed to actually help in seeing, it starts wearing off, because it is not supplying nutrients that needs it to keep functioning very well. Helping control blood sugars in type 2 diabetes, and alleviating symptoms of asthma and migraines. Now, for type 2, remember, we are talking about capillaries supplying the rest of all the body, right? Now, that means if you already have an issue, let's say you already have diabetes, yeah? All you want is to ensure that you have blood supply reaching all body parts, to ensure there is maximum utilization of the sugars as well as the insulin. For example, if you're on anti-diabetics drugs, all you need is to ensure that there is maximum supply of all the body tissues. Now, that is going to help us, because we have already said that it is going to ensure that our smaller blood capillaries are parted. For asthma, now, omega-3 reduces body reactions. We already talked about the autoimmune. Now, in addition to the autoimmune, how asthma comes in, we all know that asthma is an immune reaction. Asthma is an immune reaction. For example, it has rained, and because it has rained, someone's body reacts and thinks there is foreign bodies that want to enter the lungs, and then the bronchioles of the lungs start constricting. You smell a perfume. After smelling a perfume, your lungs tell themselves, the body tells the lungs that something wants to enter. Immediately close up. The bronchioles constrict, and then someone is lacking breath. That's when they come in with with inhalers to help again open the airway. So it is an autoimmune. So omega-3 helps the body to regulate its reactions. It doesn't just react for, you get it? It regulates its reaction. The body cannot just react anyhow. If it is a dog, it's like an injection that would make a dog not just bite anyone around them. It bites when it is supposed to. So that is what omega-3 does. It helps your immune system to be regulated. It reacts when it is supposed to react. We are going to see that it also helps in immune. Yes.
How does, I'm asking, sir, how does the concept of the scholastics affect young children? And omega still helps children process. I don't know how the scholastics was asking which product can help this kind of thing. Thank you.
Come again?
The boy had a sickle cells.
Sickle cells, eh?
Yes, sickle cells. Can omega help?
Omega-3 can help. Omega-3 can help in sickle cells for as long as someone is age appropriate. Yeah? For example, our supplement, if it is a supplement, do we know the age? For example, for our super omega-3, what is the age? What is the age? Yes? I didn't hear from you. Our omega-3, super omega-3, we start from which age? From what? 18? 12? You people, don't disappoint me. 5 years? 8? 5 months from the womb. Okay, let's leave pregnancy, the pregnant woman, as an exception. We are talking about you have a baby who is, someone has been born, is out. At what time can they take the supplement? What do we have in our product? Huh? What do we have? The manager is not here. Do we have product catalogs? Do we have them? Do we have them? Do we read them? You will be caught off guard. You will be caught off guard by actually someone, a person you're going to present to a product. Will read there and tell you, but my child is 1 year, but I see here they are saying, I don't know what you will tell them. He has it there. You may think what I'm going to say is what I'm just reading from my, open it. Open where you have omega-3. Huh? It is there. Me, I know it is there. I have seen it. I know it is there. I have read that product catalog from page to page up to the last bit. I know it is there. Open. The last one. The last bit. It's the last one there. It's the last one. Super omega-3. Okay. You're lying. I am sure I read what is right somewhere one day. Let me look for it. Unless you want to tell me that it is in it's in the other one, which is a soft copy. Because at least I read it. And she mentioned the answer. I must get it from the soft copy and show you such that don't say it is from my own saying. You must always be prepared to respond to anything, because it must be there. It can't be like when it's just like that. Okay, as we are looking out for that, you've gotten it? Okay. Help me check from here up to where omega 3 is. Page 40. I even know where it is. Page 40, page 41. Check page 41 up to page 44. I think on page 44, that's where it should be. Okay. Other general importance, we have skin and bone health, joint health, supporting immunity, fetal development. Now, you found it? I want you to read for us if you find it, where it talks about the age.
Children above 8 years old.
Children above
8 years old.
That is for super omega. Okay. 8 years, that's what our manual talks about. So if that child is a sickler, yeah? If that child is a sickler and 8 years, you can give them super omega 3 without any hesitation, unless they have any other medical condition that prevents them from using the product. You get it? That is always, by the way, that is always the very first, most important thing if you're presented with someone who has a condition. Okay? That's one thing you should always ask before you give anyone a product. First, know whether they have any disease. If they have any disease, ask them if they have ever had any contraindication to anything. It is very important. You get it? Yeah, someone would be there and probably tell them that don't take anything that is fish product. It can happen. So it is always good for you to first ask them to know if they have any contraindication or a reaction towards anything before you proceed to giving them a product. Okay, let's proceed. Now, we have seen the importance, we saw the sources of omega 3, right? Now, one would assume or would imagine that if you're eating rightly, you can access the salmon, you can access the sardines, you can access the mackerel fish, you are eating flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, almonds, then you do not need to, maybe it is okay, it is well, you don't need to supplement, right? Now, why do we need to supplement? That is the very most important thing to know. Because if you went to someone and they are telling you, why do I need to supplement, for example? Me, I think what I'm eating is enough. Yeah? Why? Most importantly, and where we are going to drill from, is number one, insufficient dietary intake. Many of us here might have already taken even a year minus eating one of those types of fish that can give us omega-3. If it is nuts, many of us here even do not know what those nuts are. The only nut we know is the peanuts, yeah, and the rest we do not know. That is why I began by telling you about the major problem that we have today of younger men and women dying in their sleep, sliding in bathrooms and dying. Someone who has themselves cold water in the shower, all of a sudden they die. Why? Already their blood vessels have plagues. Yeah? Already their blood vessels have plagues. They are already narrow. So anything slight that can shake them, the system will shut down. Is not parted. Many of you here, if I am to measure your blood pressures, I don't know if you normally take time and measure your blood pressure. Not at all. You are in trouble. You don't want to scare yourselves. You can never refuse to sleep because you don't want to dream. Many of you will find that your blood pressures are above this. You find it is 135 over 95. Yeah? What does this mean? Your pressure is normal but high. It is tending to the borderline because once it reaches 140 over let's say over 100, then millimeters of mercury, you don't die, but you'll be having high blood pressure. And at this point, you're going to be subjected to antihypertensives. And so many of you, your blood pressures are here, are always attending to the high. That is a very big risk when you are at an age, you're not yet 60. You're not yet 60, and your blood pressure is like this. Too troublesome. If you're a lady and you get pregnant, you're most likely to get what they call eclampsia. That is the high blood pressure, which is pregnancy induced. Pregnancy induced. Now, when you have this, it means chances are your baby will not reach 9 months, 7 months, premature. Even the baby will not be healthy. So keeping your blood pressure that normal high is very dangerous. Is a high risk. Anything slight will push you offset. So at least your blood pressure should be the systolic one, or this upper one should be between 90 to 120. Then the lower one should be between 70 to 90. This is where your blood pressures should be. as someone who is not yet 60 years. Your blood pressure should be around that. And so, that cannot happen if you're not taking in enough of nutrients like omega-3. All you're taking in is what we call the triglycerides. Triglycerides, they are sugars, they are fats that come from a conversion of sugars. And I told you, when we talk of sugars, please don't think about the table sugar you're taking. Think about all the carbohydrates you're taking. And that's the biggest portion you people are taking every day. Posho, kalo, wheat, and its products. So that insufficient dietary intake of omega-3 is the major reason, to begin with us here, and the rest of the other population, why they need to do supplementation. Are we together? Now, these other ones, the other restrictions, there are people who cannot take fish, like they can't eat fish. But when they can take the omega-3, right? So it fits them. We have already talked about this. Those who need to improve their heart health and blood vessel, those who need mental health and overall well-being. When we talk about overall well-being, now it means even if these other aspects we're talking about are okay, you need to be there and feel yourself and feel like, wow, yeah, I'm okay. You can run very well, you can do your activities very well. So it is important to anyhow supplement with omega-3. That is sort of repetition. This is very important. Ideal for maintaining cholesterol levels. Cholesterol, there is a level that is supposed to be there in the body. There is an accepted level in the body that is important. But quite often, many of us go out of range. And when we go out of range, the cholesterol is what comes and forms the other plaques or clots that can block our blood vessels. So it is important that we take omega-3, because omega-3 helps this bad fat to get out of the blood vessels. So that is one of the reasons that you will need to supplement. Where does cholesterol come? Cholesterol comes from all these meats that we are eating. The meats we are eating today, whether it is goat's meat, whether it is beef, whether it is pork. And pork people normally lie themselves that one is white meat. They try to console themselves with all sorts of excuses. Then, of course, support brain health and reduce inflammation. We talked about that. Okay. Now, super omega-3 fatty acids. Remember we said omega-3 fatty acids are essential. What makes them essential is that the body cannot produce them, and therefore you must take them through your mouth, either by eating. Now here we are talking about by supplementation. We have seen the reason why we need to supplement. Are we together? Now, super omega-3 is special in a way that besides it has almost all. Remember the other side I showed you that there are certain omega-3 fatty acids that are found in plants. Are we together? And those that are found in fish. Now, for super omega-3 combines all. Listen to this carefully. What makes super omega-3 special is that it combines those that are in fish alongside those that are in plant. Are we together? So it makes it complete, that it has those fatty acids that are from plants as well as those that are from fish. You get it? Why would it be combined that way? It means the body uses these fatty acids in different mechanisms of the body, not only clearing the blood vessels. Some of these are important in hormone regulation. They can be part of hormones. So if you have a whole complete package, that means all aspects are taken care of. Are we together? But most importantly, it has this addition of vitamin E. We talked about skin as one of the importance of omega-3. I know most ladies here, actually I have seen some who used to get, who would get these capsules and open and start smearing on their skins. Let's not do that. Let's swallow. Are we together? Let's swallow the capsule. Those who want nice skins, these will help, but this vitamin E is one of those antioxidants that helps your skin to remain young. It helps the skin cells. It stops them from being subjected to oxidative stress. We all know actually what makes one look older. We normally just use the general word stress, but it is oxidative stress. The oxidative stress pulls, makes your cells, I would say, like hold themselves together. And at the end of the time, you start developing wrinkles. So vitamin E is very important in stopping oxidation. That is why it is called an antioxidant. And for this case, still it means if it is stopping cells from being subjected to oxidation, it doesn't always look at the skin. Even the internal cells of, let's say, blood vessels. Yeah? We all know blood vessels. Why older people get hypertension? And it is not a surprise. It is because as they get old, their blood vessels become hard, brittle, like they can no longer expand. They lose elasticity. Are we together? So, the vitamin E can help our blood vessels maintain their elasticity, and someone who is supposed maybe to suffer from hypertension at the age of 70 may suffer from blood pressure maybe at the age of 90. You get it? Someone who is supposed to develop wrinkles at the age of 60 may get wrinkles at the age of 80. Yeah? Baba musajja ajja kulya bamama abazukuru n'abazukuru nga yenna asigala nga ali wali nga generation zijanga zimuyitako nga for him is still young. I'm not telling you men that you should get this omega-3 and start being sugar daddies to our daughters. No. I'm saying you can only stay longer and see all your great grandchildren for as long as you use the omega-3. So these are part of the contents, ingredients, call them nutrients in our super omega-3. We have the fish oil in 100 milligrams, eicosapentaenoic acid in 200 milligrams, doxycyanoic acid 500 milligrams, alpha-linoleic 200 milligrams. Now, on the market, you will find this Sometimes this alone. Normally there is, I haven't seen any omega-3 that is combined with vitamin E apart from the super omega-3 on the market. It might be there, but I haven't seen it. Yeah? So that makes super omega-3 fatty acid a special product, having all of those nutrients and in those amounts. Yeah? Maybe I didn't talk about which I feel I need to emphasize as I conclude, is about pregnancy and maybe hair. For fetal development, when a pregnancy reaches 3 months, but most especially around 4-5, it is the period when the brain, the eyes of the baby are developing. That period is very so much important. So much important. I'm not telling you that to go and blame your mothers. If let's say you are performing poorly in class, you are having so many issues with your mentor that your mothers did mistakes. But at that period, any mother who does a mistake, any mother who does a mistake, it costs the future of the child forever. Because the brain needs to develop very well, the eyes need to develop very well. That is why today, if you go to Mengo is the hospital that has, I think, the largest eye center in the country. But today you'll go there, you'll find infants, 1 year, they have issues with the eyes. 2 years, they have issues with eyes. All problems result from there. That at that level, the mother probably was a Kampala mother who felt like she has a chance now to ask the husband what she has never ate, and every day she's asking burger, pizza, and all of those, remember what I told you, all of those foods carry empty calories. And so, the brain, important organs of the eyes, and also sometimes the nervous system, especially the spinal cord, will not develop. That's why we have children who have this condition called spinal bifida, where you find the spine here is not fully developed and is actually protruding out, because at that step where important organs were supposed to be developing, the mother didn't get enough. Science has been generous to us to know these problems, that actually, even when you're here in Kampala, or even in any part of the country today, the foods you're going to be eating are not going to give you what is required of you and also help your baby to grow. And science being generous, it has helped us to develop products like super omega-3. That if you're pregnant, you can now take this product and it will help your baby's brain to grow. It will help the eyes of the baby to grow. Are we together? So, you already do yourself a disservice and to your generation, because if you produce a child who is I don't want to mention that word, but you have actually cut short your generation. Yeah? So it is important that mothers supplement. Some want to become stubborn, but remind them that it costs the entire generation when they don't supplement. But of course, as they are supplementing, we have already talked about it is the word is supplementing. So you take them through what they can eat and then what they have to add on, such that if they needed 100% of the omega-3, now they can get it. Apart from the food, they can get from the food maybe 40%, they get 60% from the supplement, and now they have the 100. Same thing with other nutrients, like we see iron. It doesn't mean that when they are supplementing with iron, that's an example you can always give them. It doesn't mean that when they are supplementing with the iron they give them, that they don't have, there is no iron completely in the food. It is there, but it is not enough to meet the body requirement at that stage or at that state of pregnancy. So from what they get from food, they add on what is supplemented as the iron they eat, and they take in as tablets. They can now get what is enough as a requirement for their growing baby and themselves. Here, instead of you people buying expensive, carcinogenic, Brazilian and what types of creams to put in your heads, yeah? You had better supplement with omega-3 and eat the other foods we talked about. I normally be wondering, actually, to our dear sisters, they will buy those expensive things, they apply, they do what, everything they will do it. But they leave, if you tell them that actually if you do this, use this supplement or this food, that will help them. They want quick fixes. Quick fixes. My dear sisters, quick fixes will quickly take you to the heavens, but I don't think it will be heaven. It will be the other side. For immunity, we talked about that it helps to lower the body immune response that is not necessary. The body will only react when it is supposed to and strongly. Yeah? I told you one time that a good soldier is a soldier who knows, who can identify this is an enemy, and he can know that this one is a family member, I spare them. But if you have an askari who will even shoot your child coming at night, then that one is not a good askari. So the omega-3 will help your immune system to be that responsible, that it will react when it is supposed to and strongly, not just reacting in the cases of asthma. So, we have come to the end of our presentation today, but like I've already said, we can eat and get the omega-3. But most importantly is that our foods cannot meet the dietary requirement of the omega-3. Yeah? And so it is important to include the supplementing. When we talk of supplementing, you may not do that every day. Yeah? You may not do that every day. But at least choose and say, you can divide the year into two. I will supplement maybe twice in a year. You get it? Supplement twice in a year. At least you need your heart health, most importantly. You can't afford to die in sleep at the age of 40, 50, 60. We who are here, I do not know how many of you have ever supplemented in this omega, the super omega-3. You may find that they are You did? You do. I can even tell. I can even tell by looking at your skin. I can even tell. Let's take this as very important. I normally tell my fellow medical workers that it is so ashaming of us as health workers. Now, you people who are in wellness, it is be so ashaming. Like it is so sad. May he so rest in peace. For a doctor at his younger age to die of a heart disease. Then it makes these other general population become helpless. And start imagining, now if a doctor who is not even 50 years dying of a heart disease, then what is there for someone who does not even know how to spell the word science? Yeah? What is there for that person? Now that communicates to us, all of us, who are in wellness and health, that sometimes we are only doing business, and that is bad. If you're only here to do business, that is bad. You should be here to improve your own health and do business. That is what it should be. I have always told you, me, I live the gospel I preach. What I tell you here is what I do. No shortcut. What I say here is what I do. Because even God would punish me. If I come here and I start telling you whatever I'm telling you, then I go back and do otherwise. God would even punish me. Thank you so much.